Man, I swear it seemed like right at the moment we be right about to get to the Yalmanery. Zip, zip. You gotta cut that boy off, man. We gonna try to wait, see if everybody can fall back through. Sorry about the hiccups and such, man. Sorry about the hiccups, man. Um, man, and I done forgot what I was saying exactly. Okay, the Supreme Grand Sheiks. Okay, yeah. Supreme Grand Sheiks. Alright, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna give me a little juice, man. See if y'all can fall back in if I get started, man. Un momento. They killing me. They really trying to 7.7. Appreciate it. Man, they really trying to throw the flow off, man. I was like right in the pocket and then hit me with the hiccups, boy. Side note, I really don't like hiccups. 7.7. Right. 7.7. Right. Cut off at the good part. Appreciate y'all tapping back in. Man, share with a friend if you can. I don't really care about the likes, but it doesn't really matter. But really, it's just about getting this information out. So, let me focus. 7.7, we're talking about Assistant Grand Sheik. And then, okay, boom. 7.7, it says, in 2005 or 2006, former Grand Sheik and Chairman / Supreme Grand Sheik Emmanuel Braswell Bey was removed from these offices by the Grand Body for embezzlement. However, Supreme Grand Sheik Braswell Bey had not appointed an Assistant Grand Sheik and Chairman before he was removed from office for embezzlement. And it says, well, let me not even past that. What really tripped me up is in 2005 or 2006, why wouldn't the Supreme Grand Council just get the factual date on this? Why is it up for question? This is the Supreme Grand Council ruling. That's like, that's like Obama or somebody saying, well, because of what happened in 1935 or 37, we're going to change some things around. You know what I mean? It's like, wait, this is official. We can't be iffy about it. You know what I mean? Not when we put it on the paper. Now we make the official ruling, we can't be, But anyways, the focus is, let me continue. At the time, Brother Bailey Eel was the Supreme Grand Governor and was the last duly appointed Grand Sheik and Chairman / Supreme Grand Sheik in our lineage. As a result, the Grand Body concurred that Brother David Bailey Eel should resume the offices of Grand Sheik and Council, and Supreme Grand Sheik. Let me highlight that real quick. I didn't read that like I should have last time. Wow. All right, so I think I'm gonna stop with the Supreme Grand Council ruling because I want to transfer over to the Supreme Grand Sheiks, but I want to use this point to do it. So in 2005, 2006, we had a Supreme Grand Sheik, Emmanuel Braswell Bey, says that he was removed of the office by the Grand Body for embezzlement. And says that he didn't appoint an Assistant Grand Sheik or Chairman. And it goes into this document to say, that the tradition was the assistant Grand Sheik was moved into the Supreme Grand Sheik's position when the Supreme Grand Sheik retired. And so this was, this is what is being said as the issue when Braswell Bay was removed, because he didn't assign an assistant Grand Sheik. There's like, well, no one can take up the spot. So what do we do? And it says here that the grand body concurred that Brother David Bailey Ill should resume the offices of Supreme Grand Sheik. This is troubling for a few reasons. Because why was it determined by the grand body? Why was it determined that the grand body should determine who is the Supreme Grand Sheik? I'm unclear on where that law is, or where that understanding or perspective came from. I also would like to understand what is the process in which they determine that. Why wasn't he just picked as an interim Supreme Grand Sheik or Grand Sheik and Chairman until they could put someone in the position that could continue on? And I say that because he retired from that position. So, before Braswell Bay took over, before Braswell Bay took over, it was P. Davis Ill. Before him, not exactly sure if it was Bailey Ill, but Bailey Ill was in there. He wasn't there. So why did the person that was not in the office, had the office, left the office, they said, no, we don't want to move forward. We're going to go back and get the guy that left the office and retired and put him back in the spot. And then even in doing that, no problem. There's a lot of hecticness going on. We got embezzlement charges. I got that. And this is transitioning away from the Supreme Grand Council and into the Supreme Grand Sheiks. How is Bailey Ill still the Supreme Grand Sheik? That's like if Barack ran his 2 terms, and then it got crazy with Trump, and then it got crazy with somebody else, and they're like, no, we need to bring Barack back, right? We need to bring Barack back. Barack, come on back. And then Barack stays in term for like 4 more terms. He stays in that official seat as president for a longer time than he was in the, what's going on? Why is Bailey Ill still the Supreme Grand Sheik? If he was only brought back because at the time Braswell Bay didn't appoint anybody as assistant Grand Sheik, so it would have messed up the lineage of things. Why is he still the Supreme Grand Sheik? It's been about 14 years now. So he retired at some point. Things got messed up in 2005. They brought him back on, and he's been a Supreme Grand Sheik from then until now. It's kind of odd. The bigger problem that I see is that we have Bailey Ill saying that he's a Supreme Grand Sheik. We have Braswell Bay saying he's a Supreme Grand Sheik. We have Kinu Bay. We have Kinu Bay claiming that he's a Supreme Grand Sheik. And the Supreme Grand Sheik is supposed to be the highest position. The Supreme Grand Sheik, this is the Grand Sheik over all the temples. Supreme. So how can we have 3 of them? How can we have 3 people that is only supposed to be 1 person in that spot? It's not Supreme Grand Sheiks with an S on it. Supreme Grand Sheik, 1. But we have Kinu Bay claiming it, Braswell Bay claiming it, Bailey Ill claiming it, and it may be additional people claiming it that I'm not even aware of. So now let's take it away from boom. I'm not Rami Salamel. I'm just a young black man, that wants to get my nationality back. I didn't heard about Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I'm trying to come see what the temple about. All right, what temple do I go to? What's the main temple? Where do I go? Now, when this person he sees or looks up on the internet and sees one person saying, I'm the official temple. I'm Braswell Bay, and I'm the Supreme Grand Sheik. All the other ones are fake. He's saying, oh, okay. But then in the process of hitting up Braswell Bay, the suggestion for a new YouTube video clip pop up. It's Bay the Eel saying he's the Supreme Grand Sheik. So now the young black man, quote unquote black man, now he's looking at, well, this is one older brother that says he's the Supreme Grand. He seemed to know what he's talking about, elder. But then it's another guy, and it's a bunch of people saying he's a Supreme Grand Sheik. Oh, man, I mean, I kind of like this other dude more than the other guy, so I think I'm gonna roll with him. And then right as you finna send in your registration, a brother hits you up. Oh, you interested in about the Moorish Science Temple of America, young brother? Oh, well, come on down. You know, this other brother named Kenu Bey, that's the real Supreme Grand Sheik. I know the other ones, but they're 501(c)(3)s and they're agents, so you can't trust them. Now what does he do? We got one guy saying the rest of the people is agents. One guy saying, you know, I'm the grandson or I'm in the family of Emily Ill. You know, then there's another guy saying I'm the only authorized temple. What do? Who do you trust? What Moors do you go to get a final answer on this matter? Who has the authority? This is a question I'm asking. That's not even rhetorical. I really am asking y'all as if I was the black man. You know what I mean? Where do I go? Because I'm confused. Moors, I love it. I know I'm not black, but help me know where I'm supposed to go. Where do I go? Which temple do I sign up to, Moors? Please tell me. Let's see what the answers are. Confusion. David Roberts, exactly what's been happening, especially where I am. Angel L, confusion. Godman A, read the reaffirming of the Moorish Science Temple of America in Cook County Court affidavit paper I sent you. Christopher Davis, I'm going through this now, brother. Godman A, read the reaffirming the Cook County Court affidavit paper. Without me having to read that, just taking in the information. I'm just a black man, okay? Remember, I'm just Cliff the black man right now. I'm not Rami at all. Just Cliff the black dude. You want me to go to Cook County, a county within a state within the United States of America. You want me to go to that county to find out the truth about an organization that's supposed to be for us. It didn't come from the United States of America or Cook County or Illinois State. I'm supposed to go to Cook County. I'm just so I understand, I'm supposed to go to Cook County to find out the true and exact information about our organization, our nation, essentially. Just so I can understand. And great question. Silva Maine. This is a serious question that I need to be answered because I live in Texas and I know nothing of Cook County. A great point to add on. And I'm not in Cook County. I'm not in Illinois. How do I get that information? What if I don't have access to the internet? Is that and why? And the bigger question, why do I have to go to Cook County to find out who is the official leader of the Moorish Science Temple of America? Who is the Supreme Grand Sheik? Just wondering if you can explain that because you put that forth. And where you're getting this understanding from so that the people that are watching this, there's black men, black women out there, black people that are confused. They can look it up for themselves and get a very clear understanding of why we need to go to Cook County, you know, what is the reasoning for it, and how that will answer this question. Waiting on you, Gamine. But in the meantime, let me read you a letter. Let me read you a letter that I received dated October 6, 1995, to Brother Ra Sadiel, Grand Governor of Temple 2, California, from Brother P. Davis Ill, Grand Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America and Chairman of the Supreme Grand Council. Okay? I find your attack upon myself and the Supreme Council, and then it has in parentheses, grand body, to be shocking, and I am giving you the following reasons why I, as a Supreme Grand Sheik, disagree with what you did during the last convention of 1995 and my response to your most challenging letter to me. 1. Why would you blame the problems of the movement on this Supreme Grand Council, which has been in existence for only 2 years? This is a letter from 1995 from Brother P. Davis Ill, which was the Supreme Grand Sheik, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he was the Supreme Grand Sheik that appointed Braswell Bay as the Assistant Grand Sheik. P. Davis Ill. And in 1995, he stated that the Supreme Grand Council had only been in existence for 2 years. So that means the Supreme Grand Council started in 1993, according to P. Davis Ill, Supreme Grand Sheik, Grand Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Chairman. So what happened between 1993 and 1933? Where are the 60 years of the Supreme Grand Council and their actions? What happened? Where are the records? Where are the documentations? What's going on, man? This is it. I didn't make this up. This was sent to me. This is a Supreme Grand Council, the Supreme Grand Sheik, a letter admitting that they haven't been active at least from before 1993. This is a problem. This is an issue. I'm sorry, I got a little sidetracked. Did Godman A? I didn't get any explanation. And you see that, and this is a great example. Use this moment for an example. Godman A, and I get this all the time. People will tell me something. Oh, well, you just need to do this. Oh, well, brother, you just gotta, and see, you don't understand. You ain't got the information. You just need to go look at the Cook County, or you just need to call up this number because they'll tell you. No. Let's get some clear understanding. I want to understand the perspective, the mentality, the thought process. I want to understand the source. Where did this information come from? Who is claiming that this is the way to go? So that we can be clear. And we can't then say, well, some Moors told me to do this. And, they be telling me to do that. I don't want it to be any vagueness anymore. They know. We just know who is saying this, who is making this claim. Step forward, make it known so that we can understand this is what they're presenting. And why, or the method, the process in which they came up with that as a solution. And this should be applied to everyone. Not, I'm focusing right now on the Supreme Grand Sheiks and the Supreme Grand Council, but we should understand this concept for all things. So it's not no vague. It's not, well, he said, she said, they be saying. You know what I mean? It's very clear. Let me go down to bullet 2. Back to the letter. Now, as you also know full well, that these problems developed many years ago following the overthrow of the Prophet's central authority. The prophet's central authority is being implied, but it's the Supreme Grand Council. The central authority for our government, our nation, our organization, Supreme Grand Council. The central authority, again. It says Sister Amelie L. abandoned her husband, and she and her family took undue charge of the grand body. As you know that I am the very first real Supreme Grand Sheik since the time of Brother William Morris L. And as you and all the others have agreed not to reveal this fact. Let me read that again. It says, and this is coming from P. Davis Ill. I am the very first real Supreme Grand Sheik since the time of Brother William Morris L. Now, I don't have the timeline of the different people to show you exactly when that is. But just understand the claim is that Brother Davis L has been the first real Supreme Grand Sheik since the time of Morris L. So there's some portion of time where there was no official real leader. And Davis L also admitted that there hasn't been a Supreme Grand Council for an extended period of time since the first one didn't really get reenacted until 1993. But the biggest problem I have is that Brother Davis Ill is saying to Rasadi Ill that you and all the others have agreed not to reveal the fact that there hasn't been a real Supreme Grand Sheik. So the Supreme Grand Sheik that's empowered, that was in power in 1995 when this letter was written, was talking to a grand governor, another person in an executive ruler, an official, and telling him, just as all the others have agreed to not reveal the fact that there hasn't been a real Supreme Grand Sheik. That, what I'm reading sounds like conspiracy. Secrets. Why is the officials and the heads of our government, of our nation, of our organization, why are they keeping secrets about something of such importance from the people? The reason that they put, as we still have a multitude of open enemies and foes facing us, would instantly turn on us like wolves. To me, that isn't an excuse to be dishonest and to lie. Because one of our grand principles, our divine creed, is truth. How can you be the Supreme Grand Sheik and not be representing the 5 principles? One of them being truth. But that's not even just on Davis Ill. That extends to everyone that agreed to keep this information secret. You can't be the official or head, a grand governor, a grand sheik, assistant grand sheik. You can't be none of those positions if you're not being honest with the people. You got to live your life accordingly. Let me last thing, let me read this. This is point 5. It says, as I previously said, that since the overthrowing of the first Supreme Grand Council, we determined that they are to be recognized as being one and the same as the grand body. This is alleged come from Davis Ill, saying that because the first Supreme Grand Council was overthrown, that I don't know who we is, Brother Davis, P. Davis Ill, and some other Moors, they determined that the Supreme Grand Council and the Grand Body are to be recognized as one and the same. Here's the problem. They are not the same. The Grand Body includes all executive rulers, all the official heads of the temple. The Supreme Grand Council is 7 people that is chosen and appointed by the Supreme Grand Sheik. Let me double check on that. I believe. Here we go. Just to be accurate. Just to be accurate. You feel me? I'm just going off the top, but changes to institute changes. Noble Drew Ali. What am I trying to read? Oh, the Supreme. Oh, that's what it is. Supreme Executive Authority. That's what the title says. All right, now. So, to be factually accurate, it says Supreme Executive Authority will appoint the people. My point is, Supreme Grand Council is 7 people. The Grand Body is not 7 people. And so, Brother P. Davis Ill, him and whoever else determined that now those were supposed to be equated as the same. That is confusion. Why did they do this? Who determined this? Who allowed this to happen? Come on, man. And I'm bringing all of this back to the Supreme Grand Sheik question. You know, for the black man, the young black man, the young black woman that understands we not black, we not Negroes, we not African American. They know that. They know we Moors. They see Noble Drew Ali. I'm ready. I'm anxious. I'm ready to get it popping. What do I gotta do? I just want to get started. I want to help uplift this nation. I'm committed. I'm passionate. I'm ready to go. And then they run into this brick wall. Don't know who to trust. Don't know which temple is the authorized temple. Which one has the real charter? Which one is the official temple? Who are the official members? Where's the Supreme Grand Council at? Let me holler at them real quick. Let's get a determination. Let's get a ruling. And you see, this brings me to my point on why I have consistently been asking for us to have a discussion about the Supreme Grand Council. Because the larger point is we have to have a discussion about our entire organization. And we have to get clarity on everything. What are the official positions? Supreme Grand Council, Chairman, Governor, Assistant Grand Sheik, Treasurer, Divine Minister, all of these different titles. What are all the titles and what is their duties? Let's lay this out so everyone understands what that position does and what is expected of them. What is the name? What does it do? What is their authority? Who do they report to? Let's get that organizational chart fully mapped out so we all have a clear understanding of how this is supposed to be ran. Then let's take an audit. Let's see who has been following the laws. Who's doing it correctly? Who's being legitimate? Those that haven't, much love to you. No offense. It's not personal, but please step down. Let's vote as a nation. Let's agree as a nation who should be in this position. Let's put them there. Now let's start this forward. Now let's really get some traction. Let's really get some progress. But as long as we playing this game, as long as we don't have no clarity, as long as we keep avoiding the Supreme Grand Council issue, then anyone can do whatever they want with this movement, because there's no one that has any responsibility or accountability. Who has the authority in this movement? Bailey Ill can say he does. Someone else can say, "Nah, I don't believe him. He ain't following he not following the prophet's law. This is the real temple. You need to follow us." Now, who's gonna stop that person? Who makes the determination between either of them? Someone that this family has been in the movement for the longest? I don't agree with that either. And what I'm speaking about is really something that has already happened in the past. I was studying Moorish history, quote unquote, Islamic history, and understanding that the different caliphates, this is what happened with Moors back in the Dark Ages, the Middle Ages. Al-Andalusia, all of that. All of those different caliphates, they kept getting overran and overthrown and infighting. One person vying for position. I'm going to be the best. No, I deserve to run this because y'all not running it right. And then what eventually happened is they got divided and conquered by the Christians, because they clicked up as a whole. They said, we know what we need to do to get done. Let's make it happen. And what I'm saying is, if you look at our organization right now, if you look at our nation right now, we're divided, we're confused. We don't have the structure that we need and we should have. And we can't just keep, well, we got to get free, so we just got to do something. You see, that leads into the consular court, Moorish American consulate, the Amexem Empire Moors, the Washita Moor, all the different kinds of organizations and entities and bodies that's outside of this organization, that's outside of what Noble Drew Ali established. That happens because we don't have any clarity. And we have to get some clarity. We cannot keep avoiding this issue and keep just wanting to do whatever we want to do because we just want to get something done. Myself included. I established the temple, but even when I established the temple, I knew that it was an informational temple. There was a lot of things that I wanted to do properly and officially so that this could be done the right way. You know, my parents, my dad always taught me, if you take your time and do it right the first time, you ain't got to correct it. And right now, we are as many people that are acting without having the proper things in place. And we are not getting anywhere. In fact, we're hurting ourselves and we're harming the movement because it's creating and producing so much confusion. So we got to get some clarity. My perspective on getting clarity is for us to address the Supreme Grand Council issue. Because, as it said in the ruling, it is the, what did I say? It is the highest judicial tribunal of the Moorish Science Temple of America. It is the sole jurisdiction to interpret law. It's integral to the lawmaking process. We need to focus on that. Jonathan Scott Bay. Correct. We're in violation of Act this or organization of the Moorish Science. This or organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Islam, you feel me? Yes. Yes, man. There's a lot of confusion. And let me focus on that part for a moment, because I made a post on the social media. People got in a tizzy. You know what I mean? Got them a little irritated, a little perturbed. So let me clarify. What that Moorish American consulate what the individuals that are saying you need to put liens on judges, you need to do the quick claim deeds, you need to claim property and squat or just claim it as your own, you need to battle it out with quote unquote officers or police over traffic stops. People that are doing those actions, excuse me, let me get this very clear. The people that are doing those actions, what is happening is they are being associated, those actions are being associated with sovereign citizen movements and domestic terrorism. Okay? When you try to challenge quote unquote officers, police, cops, highwaymen, and you say I don't recognize this. When you go through that whole legal yaminery, when you file papers to put liens on judges, when you file papers to just claim an abandoned house as yours, those actions are associated and labeled and identified as being domestic terrorism and part of a sovereign citizen movement. Furthermore, there is multiple articles, news reports about quote unquote Moorish nationals doing that. So now they have identified sovereign citizens and domestic terrorism. And by they, I mean the U.S. government. They have also identified actions of sovereign citizens and people that they consider domestic terrorism. There are individuals outside of the movement. I'm speaking about the consular court one, but it's plenty of them. Moorish American Consulate. Those individuals that are doing those actions will then be associated with domestic terrorism and sovereign citizens. And when that happens, then the U.S. government will see quote unquote Moorish nationals doing the actions, and then they can associate the entire movement to those individuals because they're claiming to be Moorish nationals and they're talking about Drew Ali. They're talking about being a part of the movement. Since they're claiming to be a part of the movement, the government, the U.S. government, can assume, can presume, can act on the entire organization as if we are supporting, promoting, condoning, pushing those ideologies. And we are not. So what we must do, what I am choosing to do rather, is to make it very clear. The individuals that are doing those actions, they are individuals. They are not a part of the Moorish Science Temple of America. They're not a part of the Moorish Divine and National Movement. They are not being Moorish Americans because we follow the law. We are not to cause confusion or to overthrow. And we want to make it very clear. For those that are doing that, that is your choice, your right. You're free to do as you choose. But understand, that's not what Noble Drew Ali said. That's not what this movement is about. That's not what this nation is about. And I'm going to put it on the record so that you, them, the U.S. government, people that are just coming into this movement, everyone has a clear understanding. Oh, okay. Yeah, they're wearing the fez, but they're not a part of this movement. They're doing their own thing. Now, why they're doing that, I don't know. That's in their heart. Whether it's some part of some spooky government trick and plant on it, who knows? It's quite possible. It's quite possible. There was agents that was infiltrating the movement back when Noble Drew Ali was alive and reporting the members and the different actions in the documents that was being given out in the temple back in the 1930s. So am I to be so naive and to think that there's no one doing that now? Come on, buddy. But the focus isn't on that. The focus is on following what Noble Drew Ali said. Because when we do that, We're going to be all right. We're not going to have no confusion. We're not going to have no problems. We don't have to worry about the U.S. government. It's not no spooky people trying to. We follow the law. We're going to be all right. But we got to follow the law. We. One being that Supreme Grand Council. We got to understand what that's about. We got to understand how this government, how this organization, how this nation works. Phew. Did I clear up? I think I said everything I kind of wanted to say on that. Let me see. Is there any questions before I get to the other stuff? True. See, I got carried away. I'm reading this Godman A. I thought you can interpret what I sent you, but I see you cannot. So I would say peace, good luck on your understanding and journey. You see, now that's a very clever attempt, but it doesn't quite work on me, because I've studied. And Noble Drew Ali said, man knows nothing by being told. So when people tell me stuff, I say, man, that's cool, but where did you get this information? What is your source? What law, what are you getting this from? Please show me so that I can follow it back and I can investigate for myself. And I can find out who is making this claim, who is making this statement, and what are they about? And most times when I'm speaking about certain things in this movement, there'll be, the accounts with no real picture, or there'll be some random person that I don't know coming and telling me, oh, well, you just need to do this, and because this is the way it is. And I'm like, well, that's cool that you're telling me that, but can you show me? Where is the evidence, the documentation? Same thing I say with the Moorish American consular court idea, or that ideology. You're telling me all of this, and well, Article 3 and blah, 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 blah. Cool. Can you show me in any document where Noble Drew Ali even mentioned consular court? Oh, well, but it's a whole bunch of, well, you just need to interpret and see because you got to, no, man. Because when I read the Moorish Science Temple of America, when I read the Moorish literature, it says, and I quote, because of certain incidents in some of the branch temples previous to the convention, far-reaching changes for the betterment of the administrative affairs of the organization will be announced at the convention by Prophet Noble Drew Ali and enforced by the Supreme Grand Council. Hey, right there. It ain't no, you know what I mean? It ain't no interpretation. It ain't no what I believe he meant to say or what I'm trying to understand and pull out of what are the words he said. No, it says Supreme Grand Council. And then it goes on to break down how the Supreme Grand Council works, how it gets appointed, the whole whoop, bob, and the third. I don't see that for the consular court. So I'm going to leave that stuff, and I'm going to tell people that that look to me for information. I'm going to say, you should follow, you should listen to what Noble Drew Ali said. Not what these other guys with the feathers and the turbans and sound good, sound like they know what they're talking about. That's all good, man. Plenty of people can sound like they know what they're talking about. What did Noble Drew Ali say? Go with that. Simple. They want to be free like you, but it is only one way to be free, and it is through the Moorish divine and national movement. Indigenous Realist Live. Noble Ali left something perfect. He left something that we could not tear up, baby. It's going to tear you up. You feel me? So the last thing, though, it's enough of the any more questions? I think I covered the Supreme Grand Council pretty cool. The Supreme Grand Sheiks. Yeah. Oh, here's a note that I was writing down when I was breaking down from the Supreme Grand Council rulings. I ain't gonna get into the full thing, but from reading and doing some really in-depth studying, it seems to me, just this last part, it seems to me that our government operates with the Supreme Grand Council being the judicial branch, the Grand Sheik and Chairman being the executive branch, and the Grand Body and Prophet being the legislative branch. And all of those work just the same as the U.S. government, or should work as the United States government, with the three branches of government. You know, where judicial interprets the law, executive enforces. You know what I'm saying. Don't mind that part. Let me focus on global warming, man. It's always funny when the consulate group try to validate themselves by mentioning that the prophet said, if I tell you everything, you will fall back to sleep. Yeah, man. Gotta be weary, man. When things start to get a little spooky and unclear, I say be careful. So, it's related. It's related to this movement, but it has nothing necessarily to do with just Moors or Moorish Americans. And I looked up, I printed out the Global Warming, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, Global Warming of 1.5 Celsius. It's an IPCC special report on the impacts of global warming of 1.5 Celsius above pre-industrial levels and related to global greenhouse gas emission pathways in the context of strengthening the global response to the threat of climate change, sustainable development, and the efforts to eradicate poverty. Whew, it's a whole lot going on. Basically, this report was by a bunch of scientists letting the world know we need to get ours together, and we got about 12 years to do it. And you know, when I posted this up asking people, you know, is anyone familiar with climate change and want to do something about it? And I seen some people, you know, commenting that, you know, it's just hype, you know, and it's just the government telling us this, you know, to control us, or, you know, some sort of paraphrasing, but some sort of perspective of that it's not really, you know, this is just a part of how the earth happens and this is natural and they're just overhyping it. And, you know, I hear that perspective. I do. And I'm not even saying that it isn't true. What I am saying, though, is that I don't like to just go off of being told. You know what I mean? That sounds good, but where's the evidence for that? Have you looked at the scientific data to see that, oh, it's actually this is normal? You know what I mean? What caused you to come to that conclusion? Because for me, I'm reading what these scientists are saying, and it's a whole lot of them. We got the drafting authors. I'm going to just read the countries that the authors are from. And this is the 32-page little poo-butt situation that I printed out. And this is just for policymakers. The real document I heard is like thousands of pages. But we have authors from the UK, Sudan, China, Netherlands, Botswana, South Africa, France, Canada, Germany, Nicaragua, Australia, Japan, Guatemala, Mexico, Norway, Italy, Sweden, Congo, Chile, Nigeria, India, Italy, Belgium, Switzerland, Jamaica, Austria. Yeah. That's just in this on this page, the authors, the scientists, and where they're from. So understand this ain't some little report. And well, let me just be clear. I am no expert on this. I'm really trying to educate not trying. I am educating myself on this. So I don't want to speak and make it come off like I got the full understanding. That being said, it seems like from this report, they are saying that we have about 12 years. We have about 12 years until the degree, the shift will go up to about 1.5 degrees Celsius, the globe in heat. 1.5 Celsius, it'll rise in about 12 years. And if we don't make changes, drastic changes, not just like, let's turn off the lights when you leave the house. Not, you can't just be, try not to drive every single day if you can. There got to be some major shifts. If we don't change, the effects that the degree, that 1.5 degrees Celsius rising in temperature will be drastic on the earth. And it goes, it breaks down everything, man. It says climate-related risks for natural and human systems are higher for global warming at 1.5 C than at present. And also the 1.5 degrees Celsius, if it rises up to that, it's still going to be problems. But they're saying we have to make changes so that it only rises to that. Like, that's really where we are shooting for. We would love for it to not rise at all, make a lot of changes so that the heat of the temperature of the earth doesn't rise at all. But we really need to keep it capped at 1.5. And it breaks down, it compares some of the things that happen at 1.5 degrees Celsius and what happens at 2.2 degrees Celsius. And that half a degree, it seems tiny, but golly, man, from what I'm reading, that half a degree is gonna make a gigantic impact. Matter of fact, let me get a number for you, because I seen a number that kind of highlighted the difference on who it would affect. By 2100, global mean sea level rise is projected to be about 1 meter lower with global warming. Sea level will continue to rise well beyond 2100, the year 2100. High confidence. And the magnitude and rate of this rise depend on the future emission pathways. Saying, man, this there it goes. This thing, this global warming, this climate change we're going through, it's going to raise the sea level. It's happening. But if we don't make some changes right now, the rate in which it rises is going to change drastically, and the water may rise, the sea level may rise much faster than they projected if we don't make any changes. So California, everybody on the coast, myself, Florida, the islands, all of the people that are living in the coastal areas will be affected, like drastically. One of the things I saw here, it says, okay, boom. It says that a reduction of 0.1 meter in global sea level rise, a reduction of 1 meter in global sea level rise implies that up to 10 million fewer people will be exposed to related risk based on the population in the year 2010. So for just 0.1 meter, if we can decrease the sea level rising by 1.1 meter, a tenth of a meter, it'll 10 million people will not be exposed to a lot of the drastic changes and problems that happen. That small of amount will affect 10 million people, just to give you some sort of understanding of what's going on. Okay, boom. Here's the one that really messed my head up. It says of 105,000 species studied, 6% of insects, 8% of plants, 4% of vertebrates are projected to lose over half of their climatically determined geographic range for global warming of 1.5 degrees Celsius. So if we can keep global warming at 1.5, 6% of insects, 8% of plants, and 4% of vertebrates will be affected. If we don't keep it to 1.5 and we keep it to 2, 18% of insects, 16% of plants, and 8% of vertebrates are affected. Like, that's a lot. You know what I mean? I don't know if you understand. This is global. We're not just talking about the U.S. We're talking about global. 16% of the effects, 16% of the plants around the world will be affected if we don't make any changes. 18% of insects. It's almost a fifth of the insects on the earth are going to be affected. Another one. Approximately 4% of the global terrestrial land, basically 4% of the land not underwater, 4% of the land will undergo a transformation of ecosystems from one type or another at 1% of global warming rising. So at 1%, this is lower than what we're trying to get at 1.5. At 1%, 4% of the earth is going to undergo a transformation. At 2%, 13% of the earth is going to undergo a transformation. 13% of the entire earth we're talking about. Then this last one. Yeah, okay. Ooh. And this last one, B5.1. This is very key. This is where it has something to do with us specifically. Populations at disproportionately higher risk of adverse consequences with global warming at 1.5 degrees Celsius and beyond include disadvantaged and vulnerable populations, some indigenous peoples, are we listening? And local communities dependent upon agricultural or coastal livelihoods. There is a high confidence that these populations will be disproportionately higher at risk for adverse consequences with global warming of 1.5 Celsius and beyond. Limiting, this is the other key. Jesus Christ. Limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius compared with 2 degrees Celsius could reduce the number of people both exposed to climate-related risk and susceptible to poverty by up to several hundred million people by 2050. If we don't make the changes to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius as opposed to 2 or more, several hundred more indigenous, poor, black and brown folks, several hundred million more of us will be affected by 2050. That's in our lifetime. And I want you to understand, I'm going to get off of this because I really would like for you to read more of it, and I need to study more of it myself. These changes that are happening, these changes is not going to just stay at the constant rate of change until 2050. if we don't make changes, it gets exponentially worse. Like it's going to get worse, like a snowball effect. It's going to get worse and worse and worse if we don't do anything. And we have to do something drastic, man. Let me read that last part. Important. Pathways limiting global warming to 1.5 Celsius with no or limited overshoot would require rapid and far-reaching transitions in energy, land, urban, and infrastructure, including transport and buildings and industrial systems. Rapid and far-reaching transitions. Rapid and far-reaching transitions, meaning we got to make some happen ASAP. And I read that because some people might be saying, what does that got to do with Moors? Well, we are supposed to uplift fallen humanity. All the people on earth. That's what humanity is talking about. We need to be leading the way. We need to be forward thinking, not just for our own nation, for all nations. And we need to be speaking up saying, we got to get this fixed. If we're supposed to be the ones leading, if we're supposed to be the descendants of the first people that's on this earth, I would think that we somewhat have some sort of duty. It sounds like we're the oldest sibling in this family of humans. Now, I don't know about you guys watching, but I was the older brother, and the responsibility always fell back on me. If we didn't get the house cleaned up, even though my sister had to do the dishes, I had to take out the trash and recycling, it was on me. Because I should have made. So we cutting. Oh man, we already at the 1 hour mark. But what was I saying? That it's on us. We need to take this responsibility, and bigger than it just being on us, or bigger than it just like, I think what we don't understand is that we all got to live on this earth. So if we don't get it fixed, it don't matter that we're Moorish Americans and, you know, we was the first blah, 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 blah. It don't matter. We all going to be messed up. Did you see that? Y'all seen that cold front, the polar vortex or whatever they called it, that happened in the Midwest? Y'all seen that? Affairs ain't going to change the fact that you freezing outside. Same with the fires over here in California that happened a while ago. Me knowing about Noble Drew Ali didn't change the fact that my lungs was messed up from all of that smoke and all of the chemicals and whatever was burning. We got to understand, man, we all got to live on this earth. And I think this is a big warning sign, big red flag saying, hey, get it together. Because it's headed towards a big problem. And so I just wanted to bring this to our attention as Moorish Americans, because I feel like at this point, we don't need to continually make videos to try to prove that we're Moors. We don't need to keep making videos. We need to elevate our thinking beyond trying to beat traffic tickets and trying to put a lien on the apartment manager. You know what I mean? Like, we really have to think on a global scale, thinking, 10 generations ahead. This is talking about 2050, the year 2100. Are you thinking about that? Do you have plans for that? Do you have concerns for our children's and grandchildren's, their children? Do you have concern for how they will be living? If you do, I humbly ask that you start studying this information, and we as Moorish Americans figure out how we can contribute, how we can speak up and help guide this and get us on the right track to making these changes. Because if not, all of this information, all of us being Moorish American, it ain't gonna matter. That's my opinion anyway. Casper, yellow color. We need to find a way to bring more love in the earth. I agree. Yeah. Casper Yellow talking about free energy. Speaking about it, where did the towers go? Evidence of directed free energy technology on 9/11 by Judy Wood, Dr. Judy Wood. I recommend everybody read that book. Investigate who Dr. Judy Wood is. Amazing sister. Amazing. Um, Let me see. Any other questions? Oh, yeah. Peace to Ron's. Mustafa. Again, see, and this I missed this, but we're gonna bring it back just real quick. And if you look through the chat, you can see it for yourself. Mustafa is not able to point to where Noble Drew Ali even mentions the consular court. So this Mustafa Abdul Mutaka Kabir, he's trying every avenue and trying to weave and duck and dodge his way to try to convince you to believe in something that the Noble Drew Ali did not bring. This going against what Noble Drew Ali taught. That's what's happening. And if you focus and you don't get caught up and you don't get taken down that left turn and in that right turn, and now you're off on some other street you didn't even know you're supposed. If you stay focused on the question at hand, you'll be able to see the deception and the trickery that's being attempted. You make it very crystal clear. Can you show me the evidence, sir, where Noble Drew Ali spoke about consular courts? That term, not your interpretation, not what you think he meant by this and piecing this together with that quote so that we can say, yeah, this is what I think he meant. No. Just the term consular court or Moorish American consulate, just present the evidence where Noble Drew Ali spoke on it. But Mustafa, this guy can't. He cannot. And neither can the consular generals or any of the people that are represented in that movement. And that's why they choose to attack me as a person. They try to distract from the point, from the question, because the answer to the question reveals the truth. Oh, Circle 7. Man. I didn't even get into the Circle 7, man. Let me get into that before I close up. Here we go. My fault. Yeah, that's a real one. You can go to hermetic.com, Google Moorish Koran of the Holy Koran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. If you Google that Circle 7 Quran, it'll come up. And see, let me just read this last message, then I'll move on. Mustafa answered, said, read the entirety of my previous messages. The evidence is there. That is how you answer when you're not trying to answer. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I want Moors to pay attention because this happens a lot, and that's how many of the people that are coming into this movement can be tricked. It's a lot of people that talk a good game. Fortunately for me, I grew up in the Bay Area, Oakland to be exact. And it's a lot of people out here that talk good game. And if you listen closely, that's how you can cut through the game and get right to the real. I'm not reading through the entirety of your message because I know that you don't have the information. You don't have the evidence. See, if someone said, well, Rami, where did Noble Drew Ali ever mention the Supreme Grand Council? Well, here you go. Moorish Science Temple of America, Moorish Literature. Would you like a link to it, sir? I can take a screenshot if you like. It's simple. I can point you to the exact portion where he speaks on it. I ain't got to finesse you about it. I ain't got to say, well, check it out here. Now listen, Islam is the word of the day. And peace, my brother. Islam to you. How you feeling? Okay, now this is what we got to do, right? We got to listen to this and we got to read this, right? And then when you go over here, right, and you see that it says right here in the Constitution, because Noble Ali said, and you remember that he said, right? Okay, and now we bringing it back to the Constitution, and we bringing it back over here with the divine Constitution, the bylaws, and so therefore, we need that consular court. Islam. Am I right? Okay, moving on. No, you ain't gonna fool me with that, champ. And I'm not allowing you to fool other people with it. Because it's dishonest, it's insincere. And quite frankly, it annoys me. Because this ain't something that you're supposed to be playing with. And the people that are playing, they know that. But I digress. Let's get to this Quran Circle 7 and let's close it on out. Man, it is storming out there, one. Oh man, I try to put a little humor in it, and I was talking to my homegirl, and I realized a lot of times people don't understand that I like to laugh a lot more than I do like to be serious. But you know, a lot of times on social media, I have to be much more right to the point because there's a lot of people that they're real clever with the words and they play a lot of games. And I understand how perception works and people can be fooled by that a lot these days. So oftentimes I may come off harsh and I just get to blocking people. Bloop, block. Cause I ain't dealing with the nonsense. Like Mustafa, he's one of the people that would get blocked. And I block people not because they disagree, not because they have a different perspective, but because I understand and I know they understand that they bullshit. You feel me? It's not that they don't understand my point, or that they have a disagree. What they do is they understand the point very well, and they try to distract, they try to add, they try to conflate the issue. They try to mix a whole lot of other stuff in and get people off track. And oh well, you know, I'm just the more coming in this, just looking for the answer, and I just wanted some help, brother. No, don't do that. That's not what you're here for. That's not what you're here for, because you know what you're doing. You know. But I do like to laugh. I do like to make me a jokey joke every time, from time to time. Where are we going? And I didn't have a particular part of the Quran picked out today. Ooh. I was gonna read this part about Israel and the ministry of John the Harbinger, but I kind of want to say that to do its own video, because I want to do a video about anti-Semitism and being anti-Semitic. Shout out to Ilhan Omar, amazing, wonderful Somali Muslim sister. You know what I mean? In the United States government, putting it down right now. Google her, find out what she's about. Ilhan Omar, Ilhan. Her last name is Omar. But I'm gonna come back. I gotta do a full class on that, because that's a whole nother. You feel me? Oh man. I think we've done the chapter of unity before. Let's see. Religion. That's cool. Yeah. Ooh, my stomach. Goodness gracious. I'm hungry. Alright, I'll read this one. Yeah, I'll read from this part. Let me see. Any more questions before I get up out of here? No. Okay. What dictionaries do you feel every more should have? Excuse me. Great question. You should have a law dictionary, if possible, an Oxford dictionary. You should have multiple law dictionaries if you can afford it. The older ones help because there's words in the older ones that aren't in the newer ones. Man, that's a great question. I wish I would have been. Oh wait, here we go right here. Since you wanted to ask that question, I'm gonna see if I could demonstrate it real quick. The difference in dictionaries. Yeah. I'm trying to look up black real quick, see if black is in here. Yeah, okay, perfect. Perfect. So you should have unabridged dictionaries, which are the like super big dictionaries that your grandma or like an older auntie had. Definitely have some of those. And I would say to just look at dictionaries when you go into any sort of bookstore, especially used bookstores. Just quickly go to the dictionary section and crack open a dictionary and read what the definitions say, because it's almost like finding treasure. You know, certain dictionaries will have certain information, and then you may come across a rare dictionary that'll say something that you never seen in any of the other dictionaries before. And you're like, wow, okay, I see you. Uh-oh. So boom. I have Law Dictionary 5th edition. This is Stephen H. Giffey's, Givis. This Law Dictionary 5th edition, real small, you know what I mean, travel kind of edition. And I just quickly flipped to the B section to see if they have black. And they have bind over, black acre, black letter law, blackmail extortion, blackmail suits, and then blank endorsement. Okay, so it doesn't have anything that just says black in there or referring to us. It goes from bind over and it goes all the way down to blank. And the only thing, it has 3 references to black. Blackmail, or 4. Blackmail suits, blackmail extortion, black letter law, black acre. In this dictionary is the 4th edition, Black Laws, the Black Laws dictionary with guide to pronunciation. In this section, it goes, sorry, this page ripped. I'm trying not to lose this stuff. It goes, wow, it got a whole bunch of stuff, but it has black acre and white acre, fictitious names used by the old writers to distinguish one parcel of land from another to avoid ambiguity. Fictitious names, that's interesting. But it has black acre and white acre, black axe, black book of Hereford, black book of Admiralty, black book of the Exchequer, I don't even know how to pronounce that, Exchequer, black cap, black code, black game, black liquor, black Maria, black Matt Carburettor, black person, black rents, black rod, black ward, black jack, black leg, black list, black male, black smith. It's a whole lot more black up in this one. Is what but the point I'm saying is that when you get some of the older dictionaries, it has much more information. So aim for that if you can. I hope that answered your question in a kind of long way. Oh, see? I appreciate it. This makes a lot of sense. The brother Mustafa, then I got to get to this and I'm going to close it out. The brother Mustafa says, I would do a short video in response to this foolishness since you blocked me on Facebook. I would love the opportunity to do a Facebook Live with you so that we can put this on the table. I'll be waiting. That goes for anyone of the nobility here that has something to say about the Moorish American consulate. I want that smoke. Oh, you are demonstrating the exact reason why I blocked you. Because you understand what's going on. And I know that you understand what's going on. And therefore, it's no reason to continue the back and forth. Because I'm living my best life. I'm joking about that part. But there's no reason to go back and forth with you because it's clear that you're not about truth. You're not about this movement. You're not about following the instructions and the directions of Noble Drew Ali. What you are about is the Moorish American consulate. And what they are about is doing their own thing. Something separate from what Noble Drew Ali said. And their actions are actually going against what Noble Drew Ali said. Understanding that, there's no reason to continue with it. But even more than that, you've shown right here to the people watching, the people in the chat, that you can't even answer the simple question that I put forth. So there's no reason to go on Facebook Live. There's no reason to continue this any further. That being said, let me get to the Quran. And this is coming from the Holy Instructions from the Prophet on religion. And in the laws he hath ordained as the rule of life, so kindly hath he united thy duty to thy nature, that obedience to his precepts is happiness to thyself. And praise his goodness with sons of thanksgiving, and meditate in silence on the wonders of his love. Let thy heart overflow with gratitude and acknowledgement. Let the language of thy lips speak praise and adoration. Let the actions of thy life show thy love to his law. Allah is just and righteous, and will judge the earth with equity and truth. He established his laws in goodness and mercy, and shall he not punish the transgressors thereof? Oh, think not, bold men. Think not, bold men, because thy punishment is delayed, that the arm of Allah is weakened. Neither flatter thyself with hopes that he winketh at thy doings. His eye pierceth the secrets of every heart, and he remembereth them forever. He respecteth not the persons or the stations of men. Let me speak on that real quick. His eye, Allah's eye, pierceth the secrets of every heart, and Allah remembers them forever. Allah respects not the persons or the stations of men, meaning it don't matter who you are or what position or title that you hold. We all finna get judged. And don't think that because your judgment was delayed that it ain't coming, because it's on the way. And I say that because some people have came at me, why is Rami going at Taj Tariq Bey? Why is he going at this person? Why is he going at that person? What I am doing is helping us remember that Noble Drew Ali is the prophet. And he was a messenger of Allah, so we really should be listening to what he said. Because we will be judged for this. Doesn't matter who you are. And I tell my daughter this. I say, I'm your dad, and there's things that I need to teach you. And I need you to follow, my instructions. But ultimately, you need to follow what Allah said. Because at the end of the day, you got to report to Allah just like I got to report to Allah. So you need to be on top of your game. Because I can't help you once that time comes. And that goes for everybody. The high and the low, the rich and the poor, the wise and the ignorant. When the soul have shaken off the cumbrous shackles of this mortal life, shall equally receive from the sentence of just and everlasting retribution according to their works. O fear Allah, therefore, all the days of thy life, and walk in the paths which he had opened before thee. Let prudence admonish thee. Let temperance restrain. Let justice guide thy hand. Benevolence warm thy heart. And gratitude to heaven inspire thee with devotion. These shall give you happiness in thy present state, and bring thee to the mansions of eternal felicity in the paradise of Allah. Man. Prudence, temperance, benevolence, gratitude, and justice. Do some studying on that. I think on that note, I'm done. Thank you for tapping in. Thank you for joining. Please study the information I talked about. If you want to learn about the Supreme Grand Council, you want to read that document for yourself, so you're not just believing what I said, iamhhtemple@gmail.com. Just hit me up or just put in the comment section, you know, I'm trying to get that document, where it's at, Rami, and I'll drop the link in there. Please study the IPCC global warming at 1.5 degrees Celsius. That report. Look into Ilhan Omar, amazing Somalian Muslim sister. Look into Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Excuse me if I mispronounced her name. AOC, the Green New Deal. That's something that we as Moorish Americans should be fully invested in and making our presence known to her for a multitude of reasons. And yeah, study the Quran. Study the Quran and what Noble Drew Ali said. Don't be believing what these people say out here, even if they sound good. Myself included. Don't believe me. Look it up. Verify what I'm saying. Yeah. Thank you. Much love to you all. Peace.